if you can keep pressure on yourself every month to just be consistent and be disciplined and have these habits in place and to be plugged in with your team and plugged in with your leaders so your activity stays on point.
This is the Just Real Quick podcast, where we discuss how to succeed in the world of sales through confidence, discipline, and consistency. Are you ready to be intentional about creating more opportunities that lead to sales? Tune into this episode right now for the latest insights and strategies that will take your sales game to the next level. I'm your host, Jefferson K. Rogers.
Welcome back to another episode of Just Real Quick. Me and Mr. Jared Everett here in the studio, about to drop some knowledge on you about how to stay consistent when you have your best month ever and just month over month. What are the disciplines? What are the habits? What is the type of mindset that you need to keep to be able to keep yourself at a high level?
Yeah, because what I've seen a lot is people will have a big month and then they'll drop off the face of the planet the next month. So if you have a $300,000 month and then you followed up with a $50,000 month, I'd rather have you be consistent and have 2 months at like $150,000 or maybe, 120 or 130,000 versus that up and down, because consistency is what we're looking for, especially over time. That's what really moves the needle over time. You can go have a big, crazy month, knock it out of the park, then you rest on your laurels. You maybe take some extra time off, you show up half-assing it, and next thing you know, bills keep coming in. You got a little loose with the money. All of a sudden, there's a little bit of pressure, and mindset's everything in this game, guys. So if you got some pressure on you and you're not able to deal with it, then you start folding. You start making bad decisions on the doors, and the mindset and everything gets all out of flux, and the pressure gets even deeper. And sometimes people don't even end up working with us anymore.
And I think there's a difference in these types of pressure also, because pressure also creates diamonds. So if you can put the right kind of pressure on yourself that doesn't have anything to do with now being under the gun and now you're in a really bad situation and you're under a negative type of pressure and you're kind of desperate and now you got a whole new energy about you.
Yep.
If you can keep pressure on yourself every month to just be consistent and be disciplined and have these habits in place and to be plugged in with your team and plugged in with your leaders so your activity stays on point. And like Jared said, we would rather see a guy come in here and do back-to-back, month after month, 120 to 150,000 consistently than to do this big up and down roller coaster, because not only does it play tricks on your leadership, but it's also like this emotional roller coaster that you're going on, because, whether you realize you're doing this to yourself or not, you're going through this big swing. And like being okay, and I'm feeling great, and I just made a bunch of money, and things are going to be good for a while. And now you're under pressure, and now whether you realize that your customers are picking up on this or not, you have
sales breath.
You have a different energy. You got this sales breath. You got this desperation that's coming out now because you lost your pipeline, you lost your momentum. And the ideal scenario in sales is to keep your momentum, keep your consistency, and just work on your preparation, your discipline, your habits to help you stay at a baseline that's just at a higher level.
And there's like a football terminology where you're only as good as your next play. So you can go and get an 80-yard touchdown. Great, celebrate it. It's awesome. You helped your team, you helped yourself. But once you've done with that and you give the ref to the ball to the ref, you're only as good as your next play. So it's that consistency. It's being able to put things back to back over time that really moves the needle. So in terms of like something that we say a lot, I don't think we've said it a lot lately, but I've heard it from I think Sam Taggart was the first person I heard it from, but consistency over intensity.
Yeah.
Because what happens is I've seen guys, they just go super hard. Guys.
It's actually, I think that came from originally a speech that a guy did that was one of the experts for the door-to-door experts. His name is, who's the guy? The other guy that has a similar thing to what you had?
Oh,
Jake Bennington. Jake Bennington, just one of the most incredible leaders and savants when it comes to regurgitating information. That's where I think that came from.
Okay.
And it's such a great concept because if you have consistency, anybody can go hard for like a week or a month.
Yeah.
Anybody. Like it doesn't take much to just go out there and put your head down and go hard. But what we're looking for and where the greats are made and where wealth is built is in consistently going out there and delivering and building the habits. There's another football terminology. Maybe it's not, it's just a coaching terminology, but you will rise to the level of your preparation.
Mm-hmm.
Rise and fall to the level of your preparation.
Yeah.
So if you get up to this level and you're feeling great, but your preparation wasn't there, you're going to fall way below where you were hitting those big numbers because your preparation wasn't there. And all the greats, all the professionals, all the experts in our space are also the best at staying up to date and doing coaching and mentoring and preparing, practice drilling and rehearsing the things that help them become an expert and a professional. So the amount of preparation that you do will help you stay consistent and help you with those habits and that discipline that you need to be able to continually, month after month, show up with the same attitude and the same mentality and activity that you need to continue to put up big numbers.
Yep. And it reminds me also of like 1% better every day. You know, it's that consistency to just keep improving, 1% better. And, you know, and it's similar to like even exercise. It's like, yeah, let me go just bust my ass, kill myself in the gym for the next week. And then the next 3 weeks, I tore my shoulder or I got so sore that like next 3 weeks I have to take off. You went too hard. You need to go in there, take your time, make sure you're doing it the right way, make sure that you're progressing consistently, getting 1% better. And then the time's going to pass regardless. A month, 2 months, 6 months. You said earlier, 6 months can go by like that. Mm-hmm. So imagine 6 months of consistency, putting one foot in front of the other, even if it's just marginal improvement.
Yeah. It's all about the intention.
Exactly.
Because, you know, we've seen a lot of people come and go that, you know, leadership presence or not, they're just in this place in their life where they're not really consistent. Mm-hmm. They're not very intentional. They haven't had these reps yet of showing up every day with the intention of getting better and going home and doing the little bit extra stuff with reading and practice drill, rehearsing their information that they need to get better at their job. But the people that do, that start to pick up on that, and they're seeing the leadership leading by example, and they're picking up on these little philosophies and methodologies of successful people, they start going home and doing a little bit extra, and they're preparing a little bit more. And they're intentional with not just that area of their life, with other areas, with their physical appearance, their health, their diet,
relationships,
protecting their environment and their mindset, with their relationships. There's all these things that if you pay attention to what successful people have done to create that success, it's not just like they lucked into it. As much as you want to believe that they just lucked into it, that's not how it happens. They're intentional. They live an intentional life. And there's a big difference between drifting through life and letting life happen to you and being intentional and putting these things in your sights and then going after them.
Yeah, and I like to say luck is preparation meeting opportunity. So yeah, 100%. It can look like you're lucky, but yeah, it's the preparation, it's being prepared. Like say, for example, in our industry, door to door, the guys that get the laydowns, the people that were just waiting for windows, that were just talking about it this morning, they come to the guys that are the most consistent, that are the most prepared, because they're out there looking for those opportunities and they just present themselves. The guy that's not prepared, that's not consistent, that shows up to area 5 minutes late, well, guess what? He just missed that person that was just looking for windows because they went out to run errands. His timing was off because he's not in line with where he needs to be to take advantage of his opportunities. He wasn't prepared for the opportunity.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I think of when you talk about that also is that the less preparation you have, the more likely that the only thing that you're going to be able to get are the laydowns. So not only are you going to be less likely to have a laydown, but then because of your lack of preparation, if something presents a little bit of challenge for you and you got to overcome something, or you got to do some rebuttals, or you got to answer a couple extra questions, you're less likely to be able to get past those. And that's where 80% of your production is going to come from those ones that you got to prepare for the most, to know how to handle an objection, to know how to answer some questions very subtly in a way that's going to build curiosity instead of create more objections and more uncertainty. You're trying to do this in a very strategic way to do your job the best way that you can give yourself an opportunity to get in front of them. And the more preparation, the better your chances of that are. And if you're not prepared, You're going to luck into some every now and then. And we see the numbers.
Yeah.
Like these guys that have 1 or 2 a month. That's because they lucked into a couple, and people just need what we do. And we're a reputable company. And just by being there, they're going to give themselves an opportunity. But what about the other 8 or 10 that presented a little bit extra challenge and they just weren't prepared for it?
Yep.
That's where those extra 8 to 10 to 12 to 15 to the record 22 came from, is those guys that did the extra preparation. They knew how to answer the questions. They knew how to overcome objections to not just get a lay down. Those were going to come because they had some momentum. But man, they took advantage of every opportunity to give themselves the best chance of getting a sale.
I think the new record's 29 now, I think.
29?
29 for that $477,000 a month by your boy.
Is it 29 now?
29. I went in and counted it. I'm like, holy cow.
29 deals.
I had to recount it too, just to make sure.
It's like, wait a sec. I got to be miscounting this. 29 deals in a month by a coordinator, the new benchmark. So all you guys that have got 1 or 2, that should hurt. It should hurt bad. And we should feel the intensity and the urgency out of you to go do something special, get better, practice, drill, rehearse the things that you need to get better at, be bringing in your notes. Here's the things I need to get better at. How do I get better at these as quick as possible? Because I don't want to be looked at as the guy that only has 1 or 2 a month when I know that 29 is possible.
Yep. And guys, it's so important to be prepared. And I think there's this disconnect because people, they don't like doing stuff they don't know how to do. I've got that from Grant Cardone. It's like, if you don't want to do it, it's probably because you don't know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So get prepared. If you don't like knocking doors, it's probably because you haven't put in the preparation to know what you're doing enough to like knocking doors. When I started, I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but once I got in a groove, or say when I go out with the team or anything, I like it because I know what's going on. I know what to expect. I've put in the time. I know the word tracks.
And you're confident.
Exactly.
And you can show up to every single scenario with this new confidence and conviction that you're here to help these people. There's nothing else on your mind that distracts you like early on in the process, when all you can think about is, what to say next, and am I going to be prepared, and do I have what it takes? All those things are behind you when you can build your confidence by preparing, practice, drill, rehearsing your information. So every time you get out there, you give yourself the best opportunity.
Yep. You rise and fall to the level of your training.
Yes. He knows how to say it.
Yeah.
I know the concept, and sometimes it comes out funny.
Well, and it was the perfect example of it. So
yeah,
it came out good.
It is. So where we started this thing was, those of you that are here have a great opportunity in front of you. You're going to make more money here than you've ever made. But now the challenge is every day to show up with intention to get better, 1% better every day. How do I stay consistent? If I had $150,000 a month this month, what was my mindset? What were my activities on a daily basis? What was my attitude like? Recognizing when there's little shifts in that so you can stay consistent with all of those things, your habits, disciplines, daily activities, your mindset, your attitude. You got to keep all those things in check. So the next month you can duplicate. If you want to create wealth, if you want to do something special, you've got to show up every day, every week, every month, that turns into years and years and years of consistency, where you can start putting some money away. You can put yourself in a new pay tax bracket. Mm-hmm. You want to pay more taxes.
Yeah.
You want to put yourself in those situations. You want to create more problems for yourself, because under pressure is the only way that you're going to be able to level up. Put yourself under pressure. Be critical of yourself. Ask for the help that you need to be able to get better. We want to feel the urgency from the guys at the top level, is where we feel all the urgency. It's like, no wonder this guy's doing so well. He's the best, and he's still more urgent than anybody here to get better.
Yep.
So you guys that are at the bottom half, we need to start feeling more urgency. And no matter who this gets to, if you're that person that's in the bottom half and you just considered average and ordinary amongst a big peer group of salespeople, I would never want to be there if I was you. Make it be a temporary thing, but you're going to have to be intentional about it.
Yeah, guys. So, in closing, preparation, consistency, 1% better, just get one foot in front of the other. And some of us, we're going to progress faster than others. One of our very best, most consistent people in this company right now, he had one of the roughest starts I've seen. Literally 2 months of absolutely nothing. And I even Venmo'd him a couple times just to make sure he had some gas in the tank.
Guy had some drive though.
He had some
kept
drive.
showing up.
Well, and I wouldn't have even considered helping him out or even keeping him on that long, but he's walking around with his notebook. He's asking the questions. He's putting in the extra time. And I called my shot. That guy's going to be number one. You watch out. How he's had more number ones than I can even count. And guys, he has his process dialed in so good. He's a human being. He's not perfect. And you can tell when his numbers start to drop, it's the simplest conversation. Hey, you know what to do. Yep. Comes out and does it. So have it dialed in well enough to where it can be just a simple conversation like that with one of your leaders. Get on the same page and get out there and execute. And I mean, you're not going to be able to achieve your goals, whatever it is you're looking for. You're not going to be able to handle those things without getting uncomfortable, without learning, without being prepared. Like all of those things lead to consistency. Consistency is going to get you to your goals.
Keep putting in that work. Keep checking back into the Just Real Quick podcast every week for more little tidbits on how to take your sales game to the next level. And go out there, be consistent, be disciplined, and don't ever stop. Thanks for checking in, y'all. Next time.